This town hides a secret you won't find in any official history book. At first glance, it's just a collection of ruins being swallowed by the forest. No local residents in the surrounding counties still refuse to even look toward this valley after sunset. What happened here 40 years ago defies logic. In a single night, 3,000 people simply ceased to exist. No signs of a struggle, no farewell notes. Just dinner tables set for a meal that was never eaten, and radios hissing static into empty rooms. Why did the government scrub its name from every map? And what price did those who tried to return pay? Today, we journey into the heart of the void. Stay tuned, because the final revelation will change the way you listen to the silence outside your window. Ashlurk Ridge was once called the gem of the Appalachians. Tucked away in a secluded valley, it wasn't your typical coal mining town. It was a planned utopia, built for an elite group, aerospace engineers, experimental physicists, and their families. It boasted the best schools, modern amenities, and architecture that looked more like a futuristic dream than a mountain settlement. The town was thriving. Life here was peaceful, almost perfect. In the morning, work at the high-security research facilities. In the evening, strolls through the neon-lit town square. Rumors whispered about a vast network of tunnels beneath the streets. But back then, it was just a local legend. Residents took pride in being the chosen ones. Today, only the skeletons of that grandeur remain. Look at these archival photos. Families smiling at the summer fair. Now, look at this. The same street today. Trees are ripping through the asphalt, and the windows are nothing but black pits. The contrast between what this town was and what it has become is haunting. How did such an idolized life turn into a stage for a nightmare? It all began in the fall of '84. The changes were subtle, like a cold draft you can't quite place. First, the animals went missing. Dogs would snap their chains and bolt into the woods, while cats would hiss at empty corners for hours. Then came the sleep epidemic. Found journals describe hundreds of people suffering from the same vivid, terrifying lucid dreams and a low-frequency hum vibrating through the floorboards. The town's electricity began to develop a mind of its own. Streetlights would flare up in broad daylight or pulse in patterns that looked like Morse code, even though engineers found no faults. Whispers spread. The experiments at the ridge are bleeding out. But officials remained silent, blaming the stress of the Cold War. What would you have done when your gut tells you to run, but you have a perfect life and a mortgage? Is it a coincidence that a week before the end, every high-ranking official left for an emergency conference? The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. The night of October 14th was the last night in the history of Ashlurk Ridge. At 2:14 a.m., seismic sensors across the state recorded a massive pulse. But it wasn't an earthquake. According to the few witnesses from the outskirts, the sky over the valley turned a sickly, glowing emerald for 3 seconds. There was no explosion. There was only a moment of total silence. Communication with the town was severed instantly. When the morning guard shift arrived at the main gate, they found the barrier open and the guardhouse empty. Rifles were still on the racks. Coffee was still warm in the mugs, but the men were gone. The government response was swift and brutal. The area was cordoned off by the military within hours. The official story? A catastrophic chemical leak requiring total evacuation. But here's the catch. No evacuation manifests were ever released. No hospital in the country admitted a single patient from Ashlurk. Thousands of people simply evaporated. The timeline of that night is reconstructed only from diaries found in abandoned bedrooms. The last entry in one reads, "They are in the hallway now. They have no faces. They are made of light." Was it a failed rift experiment? Or something that came from elsewhere? The fact that the government burned every document related to the town's existence speaks for itself. The chemical leak theory falls apart the moment you look at the walls of the central lab. They are melted from the inside, as if hit by massive microwave radiation. Conspiracy theorists believe Ashlurk Ridge was a testing ground for Project Mirror, an attempt to fold space-time that accidentally pulled the entire town into a parallel dimension. But there's a darker, more chilling theory. Some believe the town was built over a thin spot in reality, and the deep drilling at the facility finally punctured through. But that's not the strangest part. Years after the incident, radio enthusiasts began picking up signals from the valley. Fragments of voices calling out names, the sound of a swing set creaking, and children laughing. Physicists say it's impossible. The town has no power. Could the residents still be there, just shifted? Existing in a shadow version of our world, unable to be seen. Today, Ashlurk Ridge is a no-fly zone, a ghost on the GPS. Urban explorers who have dared to slip past the perimeter describe a crushing sense of dread. No birds sing here. The wind whistling through the hollow apartment blocks sounds like human whispers. The town is frozen. In the nurseries, dolls lie scattered on the floor. In the diners, menus are still open on the tables. It's as if time turned into lead. They say if you stay in the town square after dark, you can see the shadow people. Dark silhouettes reenacting their daily routines. Are there people still living there? Officially, no. But hikers occasionally report seeing lights in the upper windows. When they investigate, they find only dust, silence, and doors that refuse to open. The story of Ashlurk Ridge isn't just a legend about a ghost town. It's a reminder of how fragile our reality truly is. One moment, one mistake, or one unauthorized peek into the unknown, and everything we built can vanish. Why does this story still haunt us? Perhaps because we fear the unknown. We fear that one day our own world might simply blink out of existence, leaving nothing but an echo on a dead radio frequency. The truth of that night is buried under tons of concrete in the sealed tunnels. The town remains silent, and maybe that's for the best. Some secrets are meant to stay buried so the rest of us can sleep in peace. What do you think really happened that night in the valley? Do you believe the official reports? Or do you think the truth is far more terrifying? Let me know your theories in the comments. I read every single one. Would you have the courage to spend a night in Ashlurk Ridge? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us investigate more mysteries like this one. And don't forget to turn on notifications. Our next story is even darker, as we head to a place they call the Gate to the Void. See you in the next one.